Hey, beautiful human, I'm sending you love. I'm sending your family love. I'm sending your friends love. And I'm ready to hang out. I think Dan is here.
Hi, everybody.
Oh, you're so big. You're right over my face. Rick Dog Sanchez is here
Oh,
too.
Hola.
We are getting ready to talk to AJR. Three incredible human beings. Their latest album is called Neotheater. Totally deserves your ear if you haven't listened, but you probably have because it's a great album and it's pretty big. Also, they have a tour coming up this summer with Quinn 92, Hobo Johnson, and Ash.
hopefully.
They have another single out called Bang. I want to dive into that with them. I'm just excited to see their face. Oh, I forgot to tell you, today's conversation is brought to you by Total Wireless. Total Wireless, total confidence. There's never been a better time to make the move.
Well, you.
Hello?
We're busy.
I get it. Priorities. Hi, everybody.
What's up, guys?
You look at that apartment. Let me see you.
Oh, you want to see? You want to take the tour?
Nice and big.
The whole
Yeah,
tour will take about 15 seconds because we live in New York City.
Show us your crib.
We got the living room and Ryan's contribution, which is the moss squares on the wall.
Well,
Nice.
I believe that
Yeah,
was his
sick.
contribution, but like artistically directed by somebody else. Also, my
What? Who are
favorite
you talking
piece
about?
of
Cat? Oh yeah, Zach was here. Oh yeah. You saw them in person.
Yeah, I'm a big fan of the moss. It's a great,
Oh,
it's a
you're a
great
big fan
piece.
of A little weird that Dan doesn't have moss behind him, but I won't take it as an insult. But okay.
I have about nothing behind me.
I was saying those walls are you could easily be in an insane asylum. Like,
Do you guys? Do you want to? Wait, I live in a studio. Do you want to see my apartment?
I need you to show us. Oh goodness.
There's
One
nothing.
plant.
I have a couple of plants and a random red
two.
and a random red chair.
One lawn chair. Wait,
facing
why is it facing outward like you're 100 years old?
Oh, because I have to look. That's where the sunshine is. I sit out there and it's on the balcony.
Why don't you go outside?
Because that's not good for my skin.
Oh, okay. That's a good reason.
That was a stupid
Okay,
thing to
well-
say.
that was dumb. Okay. We've all calmed down.
Well,
Okay.
hi, Adam, you look the manliest I've ever seen you, and also you are just a crusader for this planet. I've been reading article after article and all the work you've been doing for Earth Day, also spreading the word on recyclable Legos. Like,
Yeah.
Are
Thank you so much. I really appreciate that. Yeah, I mean, it's been really amazing, and I'm so excited that Legos are actually now recyclable, so we can throw them away. That's what the song was about. We didn't want them to throw away Legos because they weren't recyclable.
It's all a message.
But now they can throw Legos away.
Yep.
can you tell me? I mean, obviously, we should be passionate about the Earth for many, many reasons, but I think the cool thing is, and the one thing that I've noticed is like, you've been able to develop this side of AJR that is very proactive as it relates to, I don't know, things that matter, like the climate and the world. So, can you just brief me on like what your fuel is to keep that fight going and to keep spreading that word?
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, we see so many people our age, younger, older, and they're all looking for something to get involved in. I mean, now you have so much access with social media to like get causes out there, and people are looking for something to kind of grab onto. And for me, I've been in school for the last 10 years. I mean, we've talked about this. I've stayed in school while we've been on tour. I did my master's from the back of the tour bus, and now I'm a year away from finishing my PhD in human rights and sustainability. And so it's always been a passion of mine. And so as many of these people around the world that want to fight for something, I say fight for the climate, because there's so many small actions that you can do. I mean, removing single-use plastics, planting trees. I mean, even unplugging your computer when it hits 100%, that small action will end up convincing more and more people, more businesses, more politicians to make real systemic change. It's a real example of what one tiny action can influence the entire planet. So, yeah.
We're talking about easy stuff too. We're talking about very
Yeah.
basic things that you can do. And the truth is, you can try to tackle a ton of different issues, but none of those issues matter if we don't have a planet for those issues to take place on, right? If they're like, the kind of Earth is kind of number one.
I think that there's no cause more of an emergency, more urgent and more important than that right now. So that's what we really need to get behind.
Yeah.
Yeah. And most people, I don't know if everyone's old enough, but the number one thing you can do right now is go out and vote green and vote sustainable, the people who are going to support those kind of causes.
Democracy rules. You got to use the
Vote.
system to break the system.
I'm going to say,
I was going to say vote Team Edward. What? That's not even a little bit what we're talking about. Isn't that what we're talking about?
no.
We're always talking about Twilight.
I
I understood
gotta
your
say,
reference.
at this point in the interview, I've probably spoken more than in the history of the Zach Sang interviews.
Yeah, you have.
You guys ever go to the comments of the AJR Zach Sang
All the
interviews?
time.
Like, Adam talks at 42:19.
And it's like from 42:19 to 42:21. You know?
When Dan's fixing his microphone, Adam goes, "Thank you," and like that's what it's doing.
Okay, I want to talk about at-home life because one, Ryan, I saw you in the middle of the night. It looked like the middle of the night. You were in a kitchen that wasn't your. Maybe it was your kitchen now. Wasn't your kitchen, but you wrote a song, or you were in the process of writing a song.
Yeah. We've been writing a ton. That was in Brooklyn. I was at my girlfriend's house, but So right now we were supposed to be were we still supposed to be in South America at this point?
No, I think we were just gotten back.
Okay, we would have just gotten back from South America doing Lollapalooza, like all across South America. So obviously that didn't happen. So the moment that got postponed, we kind of switched frame of minds because it's hard for us to be on tour and write at the same time. They're like totally different headspaces for us. One is very structural. You know, okay, go to the dressing room. Okay, now it's sound check. You become a little bit of
You hold a schedule. You have to. It's regimented. Yeah.
Exactly, and it's kind of hard to be outside the box and creative in that situation. So they're totally different frames of mind. And so as soon as we found out we're not going to be in South America, something kind of clicked, and we got super inspired to start writing. And so we've been writing like basically every day for us, for other artists. Like the creativity has been flowing.
Well, so okay, what stimulates or starts that creativity? Is it the fact that you have pent up energy that you were expecting to be using elsewhere and now you're not? Is it the reality that we're all facing?
It's probably more so the latter, the reality. So like essentially what me and Ryan do, this is really unusual for us because basically every other band sits down in a room and says, let's write a song today, you know, and we've literally never done that as a band. Every idea that we've ever put out in a song has come from us walking down the street or watching a movie, and then something sparks and we have to get home and write it.
Can I interject? Yeah. Speaking of, we were watching a Zach Sang interview. I want to say with maybe with Madison Beer or something, and she said, maybe it wasn't Madison Beer, I forget who, but she said the phrase, "Wow, I'm not crazy." She was like, "Oh wow, I'm not crazy," and we were like, "Oh my Jesus, that would be a great song title," and we ended up writing the song "Wow, I'm Not Crazy." So that's how it can spark at any moment.
Hey.
So we'll have lawyers settle that whole thing.
Totally. But
I know Dan just opened up on his Safari. Okay, like legal.
I want to figure out who exactly said that. That's what I'm going to start looking up.
I think it might have been Madison Beer, I think.
Maybe Sabrina Carpenter. I don't remember.
I think it was Madison Beer. But anyway,
Dan has memorized every line from both of those interviews. So
probably has.
Okay.
It's like one of those TikToks where he mouths the words back, but like he doesn't need he just knows it instantly.
But anyway, I guess to finish what I was saying, so we never do that. And I guess what's making it easy to do that is the time, like you're saying. It's kind of it is kind of unprecedented, like a really sad time. And whether you're sad or anxious about what's going on, it doesn't really matter because those feelings help you draw from other places in your life. And they make you remember things from your childhood that you were insecure about and insecurities about your future. So just being in this headspace is actually a really good spot to get emotion.
Particularly, like because you do have time to go for walks, check out a new TV show, watch a Zach Sang interview.
Right.
And if you're soaking
good
inspiration from every crevice of your life, you know, like come on.
Absolutely.
There's time.
Well, how do you take that quote and turn it into an entire song? Like, what's the song about?
You mean like for "Wow, I'm Not Crazy"?
Yeah.
I guess. Okay. I guess the exact.
I know that I sang that line so many times. Keep going.
Right. Yeah. The process of that was really just, wow, that's a great idea for a song. And then I literally think what came from it was, wow, I'm not crazy. Like, what's a fun way to say that? So that was step 2. And then we were like, okay, let's get started with the song. And then I think very quickly it got to the point of you're a weird person. And it's kind of a love song. And then you meet the girl or guy who says, who is as weird as you. And you're realizing, wow, okay, I'm not as crazy as I thought because you are kind of the same amount of crazy.
Yeah. Totally.
And then you fall in love. Is there going to be a Turning Out Part 3?
Yeah, I think. Right?
We haven't written it. I wrote a draft. It wasn't quite right yet. It was a party banger, It was not a party banger. Whatever it is, I don't know if it would be the end of a trilogy. I don't know. And number 3 feels important. So I think it would need to be even more emotionally cathartic than the first 2. So my goal is, yes, I think it would be really good if I have the right thing to say. It would be really good.
It's like waiting for the right time, right?
Yeah.
It wouldn't make sense to do it and just force it.
Yeah.
Well, time and I guess emotion, right? And you're in a different phase of life, and the person you wrote that song about isn't really around anymore. So there's a lot of connection points there.
Yeah, totally. Yeah. Yeah, and the idea of turning out is such precious real estate. Like I want you get one per album for us, and so I want it to mean something a lot.
So how far into a new album are we today?
I'm not sure. We've written, how many songs have we written so far in this quarantine?
8.
8, yeah, 8, I guess, which is actually a lot for us because generally we do like a song a week, right? And that's at best, you know, because, you know, a lot of artists we've seen interviews with, they'll write a couple lines or like a quarter of a song and say, this isn't good, let's throw it away. We really see songs through to the end. Yeah. Even if we think they're terrible in the middle, we say, you know, there's a chance, okay, that we'll come out of this good.
Right. If we recognize there's like a little sliver, like we have a song called Beats on our last album where we rewrote beats 3 times because we knew there was a little sliver. We knew, the idea of Beats by Dre paying for the song and the product placement commentary. We knew that was something special. And we just hadn't gotten it quite right yet. So we didn't want to just give up on the song.
How many songs exist that you finished but then realized wasn't right for release?
Probably a lot. I'd say we have a catalog of like 40 or...
Oh, throughout all the...
Yeah, I guess that's not a lot. I guess other artists have like hundreds and hundreds. I guess for us, maybe we have about 40 or 50 or so, something like that.
I feel like you guys show me maybe 4 or 5 songs for each album that don't end up making the album.
Right.
Yeah.
And then 10 to 12 do.
Will you rework any of the songs that don't make it for other people, or do you just let them die?
Yeah, no, we will really let them die. That's such a sad way to phrase it. We'll definitely rework them. I'm trying to think of, I guess there are actually current examples that are happening right now that stuff that didn't make it onto Neotheater and stuff that we know is not going to make it onto this next one that we're, reworking and pitching to other artists. That is in the works.
What's the hardest part about pitching your songs that are so derived from your reality to other people?
That's a really good question. We probably wouldn't use any of the lyrics that we wrote for us. I highly doubt that who's a good Camila Cabello is going to want to say, my rash came back yesterday. There's no way that she's going to want to say that. So we're probably going to scrap that and do something that more like Camila would say.
I mean, you don't know, okay?
I don't know. Maybe she's getting a little more avant-garde. Who knows?
We definitely pride ourselves while we're writing an AJR song. Every step of the way, it's, would any other artist do this? No? Okay, and then we could check it off and move forward. So that's a double-edged sword. It's really cool when we get to make an album of all songs that nobody else would put out. But then when the songs that don't make it are like, okay, these are the ugly child that can't go to anybody else.
That's so sad. What family were you raised in? Did mom and dad tell you that if you have an ugly child, you have to give it away? Like that?
Question: your style, because it's so impromptu, maybe that's the wrong word, but like you're very heavily inspired by what you see in that moment. Is it then hard to do sessions with other people because to go in like with this goal and people have expectations and I don't know.
I don't think we've ever, I guess only with like good friends we've had successful sessions, like Mags for one.
I hear there's a song coming.
There is, yes.
Pretty good,
I guess he teased it so we could say that we did collaborate for his new album for a song for him. But I guess with sessions that aren't with friends or people that we know well, we've never really had a lot of success, because they don't really know who we are. And we're going to be really quick to suggest something kind of weird and honest and a little awkward to say. So they're going to be very quick to say no to it. So it kind of helps when it's just us two. We've had a chance to flush it out and then send it to them as a whole. I've suggested so many lines in sessions that people are like, really? Like, I want to talk about my mom and dad divorce, and it's serious stuff or weird stuff,
See, like in those moments, like, I don't know, there's art in being vulnerable. Like, is there a line that you love that somebody said no?
I'm trying to think.
I mean, there's a few. Oh, yeah, I think I did suggest a mom, and I think the artist that we were working with did have divorced parents, and I think it was like a kind of like a sad love song, and I did want to relate it back to, I honestly forget it was he or she, or his or her parents, and they were like, I don't think I should do that. I was like, that's totally your call, but that totally would have brought out the emotion and what you're feeling,
Yeah, and then he or she would have felt it while performing. I mean, there's a
right,
lot
for
of
sure.
reasons why you show yourself in your art. Daniel, have you
Yeah, I
listened?
saw.
Oh, you go.
What?
I was
Well, I
gonna
know
bring
I
up
saw.
Bang.
Oh, of course I watched Bang. My main question for Bang was the music video shot in one take.
Yeah, it
Was
is.
that a challenge?
It was
It
not
was.
shot in one
It
take.
wasn't. Oh.
It's like you see 1917. Did you guys see that movie? I don't know if you just from this year or no. None of you saw it.
I
I
gotta
haven't seen it.
Oh,
rent
okay.
it.
That whole movie says it's shot in one take, but it wasn't really. It was just good cuts, and that's kind of what the Bang music video was. On each, you could see on each, zoom in on Bang, Bang, Bang. The editor did a really good job at cutting two shots together. Yeah. But it still actually was a challenge because we had to, at the start of every take, the director had to basically what they did, he overlaid the last take over the current one, so we perfectly matched up to our our positions in the last take.
Oh, wow.
So it would look seamless.
Bang,
Little
bang, bang.
movie making trick. Yes.
Whoa.
Well, the question I had before that, Zach. Oh, were you gonna say something?
No, you go.
Somebody tweeted or posted on Instagram that you guys figured out the direction and the concept of the next album, didn't you?
Yes, that's true. Yeah,
Well,
that's super important to us. We're not really excited about an album until we, figure out the cohesive thing that connects every song. I don't think we're ever gonna put out an album of just songs. That's what we did with our first album with Living Room, where we were kind of searching for an identity a little bit. We were like, okay, maybe this, and then after that, with the Click and with Neotheater and with the next one, it's definitely we're never going to put out a random group of songs. And so we got really excited. We figured out kind of an expansion of the Neotheater universe, and it's a little bit of a sequel to Neotheater, but with like a totally different sonic feeling. So yeah, we got very excited. We had to tell everybody.
What is the process to figuring that out? Is it only from doing a certain amount of songs and then it presenting itself?
It depends. I think with Neotheater, we knew the idea before we went into the album. We knew, okay, we want to do something that feels like 1950s choir and orchestra, that feels like Technicolor, the invention of, cinema kind of feeling. And then we were able to, make all the songs look back at that. With this album, we just went in because we hadn't really planned to make an album. And then all of a sudden this quarantine hit and we were like, oh, okay, let's go head first in. And so we a little bit started walking off the cliff and hoped that we landed somewhere cool. And after making about 5 or 6 songs, we started to see the direction. Oh, this is what we have to say that we didn't say on Neotheater. There's more specifically, there's one of the aspects of the album that really stands out. It's a production. I have to be vague, but it's a production aspect. And it's something really difficult and weird that we tried to achieve in Neotheater, and we couldn't do it. Like, Ryan worked for hours, and it sounded terrible. And I guess a year and a half or 2 years passed, and he finally was able to do it. And once the album or group of songs come out, you'll know what I mean, and you'll be like, whoa, that sounds really cool. Yeah. But basically, it was just a lot of work getting good at, his craft. This is kind of braggy, but I sent it to Jack the first time I made it, and Jack called me, and he was like, my jaw just dropped. Yeah, I just know it's a sound that I had never really heard before in music.
What changes in your skill set that allows you to figure this out?
I don't know. It's not more money because we're spending less money on this album than the last album. I think it's just time put into something. That's like the biggest advice I could give producers. Nobody's first song is going to be any good. I don't know. It just doing song after song just kind of makes you think, makes you get outside your comfort zone a little more and think, oh, what if I use this combination of plugins and ran this weird instrument through this effect? Just time, putting in your 10,000 hours.
Would you say that this next album is a second act, a part of Neotheater? Is it a pure extension? Does it get a new name? Does it get a...
Oh, yeah. Well, it's a totally new name. It's very much a new concept, but we still are kind of enamored with this idea of Neotheater, this place where you go, where you don't have to grow up and you don't have to learn life's lessons. So in a way, we kind of wanted to expand that in terms of like, what if you did grow up? What if you had to get to that point where you became disillusioned and started learning these hard lessons and forgot a little bit of your childhood? What does that look like? And so in that way, we expanded the universe.
From the stuff that I've heard, it feels like the Click to Neotheater to this new album. It feels like a trio of albums that are meant to be listened to in order. So like you say that you create a piece of work that's meant to be listened to start to finish. From the stuff that I've heard, I feel like it would make so much sense to listen to the Click all the way through, then Neotheater all the way through, and then this next piece of work all the way through. And it really tells a complete story with these 3 albums.
Are you using, because the one thing you've been able to do really well is a beautiful evolution where albums sound connected. They don't sound separate, right? So like you know exactly who it is when you hear it within the first like 3 seconds.
Right.
Are you using any sounds in different ways from Neotheater in the songs that you're
Yeah.
making now?
Yeah, absolutely. That's kind of literally when we sit down, that's our first step. It's how do we do exactly what you just said? How do we make sure that when people hear the first song on the album, they know it's us, but it's also kind of different, you know? And so there are aspects from Neotheater that we're pulling. That, like, Disney Choir is definitely finding its place on this new album.
Yeah, in a different way.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's funny. Now we're 4 albums in. Now we're at the point where it's getting dangerous to start repeating ourselves. You know, like with the Click, when we first started writing about these weird topics, we used our inner circle of things that came to us right away. Oh, what about if we wrote a song about The Office and about, you know, our feelings on weed, and about you know, our friends asking us to come hang out, but we're following our passions. It was all very like the first things that came to us. And then with Neotheater, we, you know, tried not to repeat ourselves, so we got outside of our comfort zone a little more. And then with this, it's even harder. But in a way, it's cooler. We're mining our life even harder to get outside of our comfort zone and talk about things we've never talked about.
But mining your life, is that a healthy thing to do? Because you're really having the ability to kind of like dissect every little thing, big or little, because you're looking for something, right?
Yeah, I think it is a healthy thing to do. I think that it can really help you cope with things, and it can, you know, bring you back to undigested ideas of, you know, some weird thing that happened to you 5 years ago that you never really digested and thought about. Writing a song about it can help you like really get in touch with those feelings and have closure with it.
I think also this time right now, living in the time of the coronavirus, has given a lot of people time to self-reflect, and those things that they weren't necessarily thinking about because they were so busy day to day have now come to the surface. So a lot of people, whether they're writing, you know, a book or a movie or doing art or music, they get to kind of get in touch with those emotions that wouldn't necessarily be at the surface, but they are now because they have to sit alone and think about themselves and be in their own mind.
Yeah, just them. Is love good or bad for creating art? Is being in love good or bad?
It's another double-edged sword. It's if you're writing a celebratory song about love, it's amazing. But on the other hand, all of us at one point have been looking for love. We can all relate to that. But not all of us have experienced love before.
Hell yeah.
So in a way, it can be isolating. And I found that. It's interesting to try to write something that's, because you're really just writing about one person. Like, how do you write a really specific, honest song, but also make it you stay with me? You know, it starts to become very general and vague. So it's interesting. It's good and bad.
But you also want your art to be reflective of your reality. So it is like a balance.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, sometimes you have to find what's accessible and universal in your very specific situation, and that's what we try really hard to do.
Daniel,
the question I have is, where does Bang come into play with all of the last album and the new stuff, and where'd that come from?
We originally wrote it to be on Neotheater. On Neotheater Deluxe, yeah. Because we had the beat while we were writing for Neotheater, and at the time it sounded very different.
It sounded different. It sounded way less cool, I guess, than you hear it now. A lot more evil. It was slower. It more so belonged in like a Disney movie where the villain came in, which was the feel that we wanted, but we didn't know how to make it feel current. So we just put that aside. And then we were on tour writing. We wanted to, you know, write, and that beat came up again. And Ryan was like, why don't we just try to combine that with what's current now to add some trap drums and try to pick up the pace a little bit and try to get people's heads nodding. And that's kind of where the beat came from. And then when it came to let's go out with a bang, it was just such a fun, I think it's one of the first things that came to us. It was such a fun thing to say.
Yeah, it was our sweet Caroline. Ba, ba, ba. We wanted just a tag that, you know, everybody can sing, and that kind of transformed the song into a big anthem kind of thing.
Yeah.
So we wrote that for Neotheater Deluxe, and then we just kind of realized, this sounds a little more like the bridge between Neotheater and what we're doing right now, where it's a little bit darker, a little more gravity to it. So we decided let's make this the first single of the next album. Why not? It's doing like super well at alternative radio. Let's just like keep riding off of it.
Let's go out with a bang. Good.
Bingo.
Hey, I appreciate the three of you very much. Were you about to say something, Dan?
Well, Ryan, do you guys have a dog, or you've been chewing on that bat?
It's a little of both. Little of both. They share it.
I take one end.
Yeah, and
she takes
it's
the
sort
other.
of a it's Lady in the Tramp situation, and they meet in the middle somehow. No, we do have a dog. We have a dog, and she's not here right now. Our dad took her to his place. But yeah, she's been chewing on the end of this. We stopped her at first, but then it was just like, you can do whatever you want. It's a pandemic.
She runs the house.
She kind of does, yes.
What have you guys been doing other than writing music while you've been like on lockdown?
Things that we do, we cook a lot. I feel like everyone says it, and it's very true. We've been cooking a lot. That's not something we used to do. Living in New York, and I guess LA's, similar. The restaurants are, right next to where you live, so it's so tempting to just go down and get food from there every night. But I discovered that Trader Joe's is so cheap. I had no idea how cheap frozen stuff was.
Oh, yeah.
And it's so good, too. It's so good.
It's the only way I survive.
Right. Yeah. So we've been doing. I guess that's not really cooking. That's heating stuff up. But we have been learning other cooking. I've also been. What's really interesting about New York City is there's constant fights on the street during this time, right below my window. So about 4 or 5 times a day, I'll stick my head out and watch like cops or whatever, literally in person. There's 2 homeless people, and nothing is about the pandemic. It's all. Carrot is not a fruit. It's a vegetable. It's topics that have nothing to do with what's going on, which is makes it even more interesting.
Cooking?
So those are the 2 things I do.
Fantastic.
Real life cops. That's fun.
Yeah.
Healthy, I think. Both.
Yep.
Very healthy. Are you eating at Chipotle still? Are you still using your card?
Oh yeah. I kind of have to. We have those cards that we get Chipotle every day free for a year, and I have to. So I suit up and I go out, and then I pour it into a bowl, and then I microwave it for a minute. Online, it said that it can kill the germs doing that. So it's COVID friendly. Literally not a joke. I don't know why you're laughing. I think like literally nothing was a joke about it.
Are you? What kind of? Do you have you suit up? So mask and everything.
Oh, I put on my mask and my gloves and my hazmat suit, and my dog protects me. So.
You all should be wearing masks. Masks are the new
We do.
shoes.
There's a law in New York. You can't go out without one. You're going to get stopped by the police.
Here too, and then somebody's gonna stick their head out of your building and watch you fight with them.
Full circle. Yeah, full circle.
Yeah, I'm
baby.
trying. I'm trying.
Yeah.
I gotta let you go. I appreciate the 3 of you very much.
Of course.
You for hanging
You too,
out.
guys.
Do we have like a date for next? Thanks, Adam, for your thumb. Do we have a date for the next record? Next album? I mean, obviously nothing, but I know there's gonna be another song, maybe.
There's 100%. There's definitely music coming out in the next couple of months, right?
Yeah.
A few months. Yeah, that's for sure.
Probably, yeah. In the next month or so, we'll drop the next song. Yeah, we really, I really just want to put out songs when they're ready and when they're quality and they sound good. That's number one for us. So I imagine we'll have a little bit of a trickle of songs over the next couple months leading up to the album.
Beautiful. And obviously there was a tour in June that was scheduled with Quinn,
There
and
was.
Bobo Johnson, and Ash.
No, that's the tour. That's July and August. I know it's confusing. We have 2 tours out at the same.
Sorry.
So, Neotheater Part 2 was May and June. That ended up getting rescheduled to the fall, of course. And now July and August is with us, Quinn 92, Hobo Johnson, and Ash. And as of now, that's still on. So that's basically what's going on.
Cool. Thank you for the update. Everybody needs to know. I appreciate the 3 of you very much.
Of course. All you guys, thanks so much for talking.
All right, love.
Can everybody lean in quickly so I can take a screenshot so it looks pretty on social media?
Yeah, I'm sorry it's so tight. I'll just sort of.
You guys kind of look like chia pets when you're positioned right behind them.
Oh, right with the moss. Totally.
Hold on, let me check to see if I got it before you go, because I'm going to be real annoyed if I didn't.
The love and passion
Ryan,
in
you're getting
everybody's.
so
Oh, wait, no.
It's so annoying.
I need you guys to do it again. Somebody needs to talk, because it's now on Ricky instead of you guys.
I have to stop.
Wait,
This is the
hold
part
on.
that's bad.
Hey,
Dad tries to take a picture and
Oh,
then
we
it
have to
up.
be talking
Yeah, we have to be
ourselves.
talking, so we get big for them.
Is Dan's new name Daniel?
Oh, I got it. Oh,
I
look.
get annoyed and I call him Daniel.
Well, you get it with yourself, so.
I'm gonna fight you. Not.
All right, perfect.
Yeah, we're good. We got it. You're the best. Thank you for doing this and putting up with our. I
Of course.
appreciate you.
Love you guys. Thanks
Talk
so
to y'all
much.
later.
Hey, guys.
All right. Bye-bye.
Hey, beautiful human. Thanks for watching our full interview, but I get it. Like, a full interview is a lot. So we got a clips channel. We don't expect you to watch the full thing anymore, so we just gave you the highlights. Please subscribe and notifications and all that stuff. Okay, cool. I love you.